first off, everything I'd been doing before that was black and white. The hard black and white was the Technicolor that we were in later. No, everybody became a Technicolor, queen or something because they just highlighted your eyes and your skin and your hair and everything was bigger than life, brighter than life. But um, the most everything I had been doing was black and white. Spellbound and Spiral Staircase and Out of the Past, and all of them were black and white. And then all of a sudden, Bing, wanted me for Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court in Technicolor, and nobody had seen me in Technicolor. And it seemed like when they saw the rushes, it was like, oh my goodness, she's a different person. And so when I saw it, I went, my gosh, is that me? So I just, because always before I was, my auburn hair was really black, and it was very shocking to me to see me in color. Then it bothered me because they were fussing over me all the time, just fussing with, and Bing was like a little mother hen with me with Connecticut Yankee, King Arthur's Court, which is just apparently so well known. When people email me, it's like Connecticut Yankee, they remember that film. And then it went on where I think Connecticut Yankee, then The Great Lover with Bob, and then Nail Lady, the alias Jesse James. And then this was one of the other Technicolor films that I made. So it was fun. I always finally got to know that, in Technicolor, I think I looked a lot better, than I did in black and white. But then as a character actress, early on, I didn't care where the camera was. I just was doing those meaty, key, roles that gave me good, meaty dialogue. And I can appreciate that in looking back, because then of course when you get into the Technicolor, it's not quite as meaty roles. You're the princess or the queen or something. And but I did go on to do a lot of Technicolor, which I was happy for.
Did you have a choice of which roles, or were you under contract and had to take what they gave you?
No, actually, I wasn't really under contract. I was contracted for, pictures. They would just hire me and ask if I wanted to do them, or I said sure. So I just stayed there a lot. It was like my home lot. I was stayed there all the time. I was never under exclusive contract. I was at David Selznick's where I started, but not with Paramount that I recall. Maybe A.C. Lyles here could remind me differently, but I know that I just what I did was Selznick sent me over to try out for Connecticut Yankee with Bing. I just 3 weeks later they put me in the picture. I had to wait 3 weeks, and I was so sick with a cold. I thought I was so was afraid when waiting all that time. I thought, I wonder if I'm ever going to get it, but I did. And then they didn't. It was just contract for that film, and each film I'd have a contract with that specific film, which was fine because I could. But I didn't know. I was too naive to know anything about. I'd never been in a studio then. I was out of high school, and I didn't really know the business. And suddenly I'm thrust into it. So I didn't know an A film from a B film, and I just did what came along. And fortunately, I did some good A films, and I did some really nice B films. So I'm grateful for that, but I honestly didn't know that I was doing a B film against an A film.
Well,
So
I must say that Redheads holds up very well as a typical B film from that period.
uh-huh,
I think the 3D adds a lot to it. I had
yeah,
a chance to see a little bit of the new print, and it looks magnificent.
has it? Oh, great,
Now, I have to
great.
ask you, because you mentioned the idea of throwing things at the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Patricia Medina said in an interview at the time that she hated that aspect of doing a 3D film because her aim was so bad and she kept missing her mark. How was your aim?
I was good at, I could, my first film with Ingrid Bergman, I had to throw a book at her in Spellbound, and boy, she ducked. I mean, I direct, as a little, in grammar school, I was the pitcher on the baseball team, so I was a good shot. I could really hit the mark. So, but I didn't know, really why they were making me throw it that direction, because then I never saw it in this 3D. So I'll know tonight when I see
You'll know.
it. We were
We're
doing,
going back.
we were working Saturdays even those days. You just do one after another.
Wow.
And who was the producer of this one? That's what I don't remember.
Well, it was produced by William Pine and
Oh,
William
Pine and
Thomas,
Thomas. It's
the
a Pine
Dollar Bills,
Thomas, yeah, yeah.
and directed by
Lou
Louis
Foster, yeah.
3D films were the big hype at the time because the idea was television had taken away so much of the movie-going audience, and 3D was something you couldn't get on TV, so all the studios were starting to make them. Now, do you have any specific recollection of how it came to be you were cast in the picture?
Well, I guess there were the redheads from Seattle. I guess I don't know. Being a redhead, that every Agnes Moorehead and Teresa Brewer, they were redheads, and it was just, of course, I didn't know the difference between an A picture and a B picture. I was so out of school when I got started, and so now I realize Pine Thomas made some good little family films, but they were B pictures, and so they paid more than the A pictures did. It was wonderful. So I enjoyed doing many with four with Ronnie Reagan and four with John Payne, and some big films, some A and some Bs. But Pine Thomas did some good films, and I enjoyed doing it very much with a great cast. Agnes Moorehead, whom I'd worked with before several times, and she played our mother in it, and Teresa Brewer, who was a terrific little singer. I was jealous because I wanted to sing. That's what I wanted to be, was a singer. And she did all the singing. And then, of course, Ray Evans wrote the music, and he's with us today, which is wonderful. And Gene Barry, I understand, is still around, but I'm sorry we're not seeing him tonight. It was, we had a wonderful time. A.C. Lyles was here, who has a better memory than anybody. He just remembers all the things that I forget, and reminds me of them. But we did most of the filming on the Paramount lot. A lot of it was, some of it we did in Seattle and in the snow, but I mostly remember on the lot, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was very, the dog. I love the dogs, and I want to get in there and race them with them myself. But I'm anxious to see it tonight because I honestly don't remember too well.
Well, it's a film that has not been seen in 3D since 1952.
I never saw it in 3D. I didn't see that one or Hivero or any of the others that I did. I did about 4, I think, in 3D. But for some reason, they never showed. They just didn't show them. They made them. But I honestly don't recall ever seeing it in 3D. Then they just showed it without the glasses. So I'm just delighted to get to see it tonight in 3D. 3D really makes that film come alive.